Hey guys, and as we plug on going forward with the Black Mamba oversized Power of the Primes Dinobots, we delve next into the one member of the team that is perhaps the most stylized, the greatest departure from the original Power of the Primes version. Not that it is much of a departure, but you'll see what I mean when we compare the Black Mamba oversized KO of Snarl to the Power of the Primes Deluxe class Snarl in the latest GotBot True review. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your humble host, as always, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. Please like, comment, share, of course subscribe, and while you're at it, that's right, man. Hit that notification bell because it helps me out a lot and it helps you out to know when new content goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, Transformers, Collectors, and the Autobot family. And have a look for me everywhere across social media, man. I'm not a hard guy to find. And this is two versions of Snarl, and honestly, when I looked at the Power of the Primes version, I said back then that this was perhaps the best of the entire bunch. I love this guy. I think he's fantastic. I think it's an excellent Snarl update. This guy is also fantastic. He is bigger. We will see comparisons in terms of like translucent plastic and gold, solid gold plastic, and where other paint apps are. Right here, right now, you probably notice in Dino mode that kind of the back half of the body is red on the official. It's gray on the oversized KO. I like the gray, even though the red is accurate. Not a bad Snarl, whether you like the Power of the Primes or this one. But there are a couple of interesting differences that are really worth noting as we go through here. So we're going to look at this lad in his arm mode, because he's the other arm. We're going to look at him, of course, in Dino mode closer, and we're going to look at him naturally in robot mode. So without any further ado, let's head over to the table and take a closer look at these guys. And yes, indeed, as we dive into the Black Mamba oversized version of the Power of the Primes Snarl, I can safely say that I believe that this member of this Dinobot team may be the farthest departure from the original release that we have among this set. This one has a couple of different color choices and one different part that I guess it's fine, but a couple of color choices are, I kind of like the original better. You'll see what I mean as we go through. Although, to be fair, in limb mode, looking at them here now, they both make great arms, they both make great legs. There's no doubt about it that I said when I looked at Snarl a long time ago in episode 398 that I thought he was the best of the entire team. I love Snarl. By the way, I didn't say it in Swoop's video, but I originally looked at the Power of the Prime Swoop in episode 344. But he's not the focus here, this guy is. And just like the original, we have a very strong arm mode. I'm not going to show leg mode, I think we all know how that goes. However, I think the arm mode of the KO is somewhat more cohesive because we have the gray of the body going all the way down the body, as where on the official part of the body is red. And indeed, in Dino mode, that red should be there. It's more accurate than the gray, but I think I kind of like the gray. So kind of the point so far for coloration goes to the Power of the Primes version. They both bend the same at the waist and whatnot. Here also in this mode, you will notice that we have another translucent head over here that's painted gold inside. We have a solid gold head over here. Both of them I've painted the Dino eyes blue instead of leaving them red. And that's kind of what we see here mostly. I guess except for the shoulder piece. We have a solid gray shoulder piece with gold detailing on the KO. Again, we have a translucent shoulder piece with some gold highlights inside on the official. But that's kind of them in limb mode. They both work great. Which really now allows us to jump into the transformation. We're going to remove the hand. And we're going to Dino mode and then robot mode, because when we looked at this guy originally, we went the other way. We went from, you know, robot to Dino to limb. Well, we're going to go back now. And we can sort of turn it this way. There we go. We can take these arms here and sort of bring them down the side form now. like that. We'll deal with those in just a little bit as well. We can split this head and open this out. There is a section right here. That's what the hand was in. We fold it up on the KO. That's a very tight hinge, very tight. I was a bit afraid the first time actually that I did it. Nevertheless, we have those out. We should be able to fold these up over, and same here, fold this one up over. We put these together and push these all the way down. We fold in underneath, we fold in underneath, and we tab the head together, and then we bring the head up over. Straighten those up. We bring down these front dino feet. These are die cast, by the way, these front gold dino feet here. They're die cast and painted. Bring that one down. And I think, yeah, we are supposed to bring there's a hinge in there. We bring that forward like that and really straighten that up. Boom, in the end here we have Snarl in his dino mode. And when we compare both of these dinos, it's pretty safe to say that the power of the primes, though smaller, is actually the more accurate, because the dino mode should have the red up on the body, as that one does. Though I do like the cohesiveness of the gray. By the way, when I done the conversion for this guy, I forgot to flip in his combiner peg. Obviously, that is done now. Slight oversight, it's just a combiner peg, it is what it is. Also, there's like sticker detailing, I think it's tampoed on here, but it's sticker detailing on the actual power of the primes. None of that sticker detailing carried over in the oversized version by Black Mamba, which I think is okay because I believe it makes it more animation accurate. Nevertheless, here in Dino mode, I do have to give the nod and the win to the actual power of the primes. The conversion for both is spectacular. Interesting fun fact, by the way, I guess the peg hinge that flips down and is used in arm mode for a hand. That hinge peg, I guess, is gold on the official power of the primes. It's gray and quite tight on the KO, for what that's worth. One little other odd color difference choice. But yeah, both of them fine, they look good. The power of the primes one gets the nod. What about robot mode? Well, we're going to do that conversion now as well. But before we do that, I just wanted to also mention that we have three things in common here across all versions, all 5 members of this team. They are da-doop, this beautiful slicey cutty, and these instructions. Well, sort of. The instructions actually show the conversion going from dino to robot, but a part of this is the same across all of them. That is 4 Dinobots, all with the exact same stats. You have to love the attention to detail that KO gives their offerings. Okay, so to do this conversion, where do we begin? I guess we pick that up, we'll split that rear tail, why not? We're going to take these arms and we're just going to bring them out like that for now. We're going to come down to these dino legs and bring that one back, and we're going to do the same here and bring that one back out of the way. We're going to split the head. We'll bring it forward and we're going to split the head and then open it up. By the way, this here, this hinge right here, this very tight, scary hinge right here is gray on the KO. That's the one that I said was gold on the official, for what that's worth. We flip out the legs, we stand this guy up, and of course he begins to get too big for the screen. I'm just going to readjust. For expediency's sake, I split the legs, I closed the back down, and I brought that half a head down on the back of his leg. Then we can rotate up the shoulders. By the way, the shoulder hinge in here for the rotation is gray on the KO. It's gold on the official. We come down here to the hands. We flip out a hand and we flip out a hand. And then we take this back and we bring up the robot head. We close that in behind. We split those couple of, I don't know what you call it, plates, I guess, out from his back, and boom, in the end, here we have Snarl in his glorious, beautiful robot mode. Starting from the bottom, working our way up, on the shins of the official we have that like sticker detailing. We don't have it on the KO, but I'm okay with it not being there because the animation didn't have it there. The thighs are exactly the same, the pelvis exactly the same. Then we get to the main body, and the main body generally is the same. However, you will note the combiner peg. The combiner peg on the Power of the Primes version does have like a translucent piece. It is extremely accurate. Though it would be nice if the Autobot symbol was higher, but I understand why it's not, because we have a peg hole there for his prime armor. Then if we look, however, at the oversized KO, it's a completely different peg. It's actually the same peg that's used in Sludge, except now they've used it here. So it's actually not accurate. It does allow me to put the Autobot symbol higher, but if you wanted to connect the handpiece like the prime armor, you can't here because you don't have a hole to put it in. I don't know if that's a misassembly thing, if it's just mine, if it's common, I have no idea, but I know that mine has that Sludge peg. Do I care? No. I just slapped me on an Autobot symbol and called it good. Head exactly the same, but the neck piece on the official is gold, the neck piece on the KO is gray. I colored in the eyes blue, not only in Dino mode, but in robot mode as well. The shoulder pieces are different. Here on the official we have translucent with gold like highlights inside. On the KO we have gray with gold highlights painted on the outside. I think I like the gray with the gold highlights better. And then we get up to the like tail pieces over his shoulders. I like the Power of the Primes better because the tail pieces over his shoulders should be perfectly gold. The tail pieces over the shoulders of the KO were gray with kind of gold highlights. So what I did is I painted in some of that with extra gold. This is more accurate for that tail detailing. This is less accurate, but I still like it. The arms are the biggest departure here for both of them. And that's because in Dino mode, the hind lower legs are gold, but in robot mode, the entire robot arm is gray. So I opted to leave the gold forearms on both because it's accurate to Dino mode. The black hands would be accurate. The gray upper arms would be accurate. The black like bicep on both of these is not accurate. So it's the furthest depart. Like this is probably about a 9. It's a departure from the correct coloration. This is an even further departure, so it's actually probably more like an 8. Like, you know it's Snarl, but there's a couple of things not quite right. So I'm going to say an 8 for the coloration. In terms of the transformation, honestly, it's fantastic. 10. It's absolutely fantastic. There's a lot here that's clever. All the tolerances are beautiful. What about the articulation? We're going to hope that that's really good, but long story short is we have a 10 for the transformation, we have an 8 for the coloration. It's getting a 9. The shoulders here, I mean, they move fine. No problem. We have a bicep swivel. Now that being said, the KO shoulders don't lock in like the Power of the Primes do. That's a little bit of a nuisance, actually. We have a bicep swivel. We have 90 degree at the elbow, nothing at the wrist. The shoulders do go well out, which I do like and appreciate. The legs can go all the way back. They can go all the way forward. We have a waist rotation. We have hips out to the side. By the way, I think when I've done Swoop's articulation, I didn't show you that he has a waist rotation, but he does. He's an arm. It was probably self-explanatory. The leg has a bicep swivel. We have a knee to basically 90 degrees, no ankle tilt, but he has big old chunky feet, so he's able to stand and pose actually quite well. A couple of things could be improved here. A wrist articulation, something at the ankle would definitely be nice. And a locking point on these shoulders, like the official one has, would be nice. Maybe it's just that mine don't quite lock in. I'm going to say that his articulation is pretty effective for the most part. I'm going to give it an 8. Overall, this guy was getting a 9. He gets an 8 for that. He's about an 8.5. He is, however, While I might not sound quite as enthusiastic, he is so clever and so fun and works across all modes that he is a fantastic version of Snarl. And of course, here we are once again. And even though the instructions might leave something to be desired with all of the stats being exactly the same, and even though the oversized KO is definitely just a upsized version of the original, in this case, there's actually enough, I think, unique on this guy that, like, he is a little bit different. Like, yeah, when I say a little bit different, I mean take it with a grain of salt, you know? The combiner peg, it depends on what sort of combiner peg you like in robot mode in his chest, and maybe you don't care. But I think in Dino mode is really where the interesting comparison, I guess, takes place. I prefer, personally, aesthetically, though I don't think it's quite as accurate, I prefer the entire body being gray like on the oversized version. But though that is the case, I have to give the nod to the official because the red is technically accurate. The clear translucent on the shoulders is fine with the gold detailing inside, but I do prefer the solid gray shoulders. It didn't even need the gold detailing on it, but I'll take it all the same. I'm not going to turn down extra paint. I like both. There's not a weak Snarl here. There's not a bad option. The deluxe is great. The more Voyager-esque size is great. It really depends on what size you want because they are both quite excellent. Let me know which Snarl you prefer. Let me know which dinobot is your favorite. You know I love to hear from you guys, and I appreciate you dropping by and giving me some of your extremely valuable time. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, don't forget there's a donate link down in the description. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It helps me out so very much. Stick around, man. Have some fun with us. Especially don't forget that somehow, some way, each and every day you do make a difference. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit. Either at the live shows every Thursday night, at the stop motion premieres, or the old fashioned way, man, right here inside the videos.